Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
Prince George's County, Maryland is one of the 3 Maryland and Virginia counties, along with the city of Alexandria, that border the District of Columbia. And like those other jurisdictions, it's home to thousands of federal employees who recently lost their jobs because of orders from the Trump administration. One member of the Maryland congressional delegation wants to help. Federal News Network's Terry Gerton got details about a job fair from Representative Glenn Ivey.
We have a large number of federal government employees in Prince George's County. Many of them they work at the Pentagon, Department of Defense, just departments and agencies across the spectrum. As I mentioned, a lot of anger, a lot of confusion, a lot of disappointment. And I think there's also a big segment of this, too, where not only are they upset about losing their jobs and their livelihoods, but they've been taken away from doing the things that they love. For example, I run into people one woman was doing clinical trials at NIH. And she came up to me and talked to me about how it's not like a light switch. You can't just switch it right back on. They've got to start over again. And, she talked about clinical trials and things like cancer, Alzheimer's, and the like. And, that's going to impact lives. We're going to lose people based on this. So it's tragic on all fronts.
Well, Governor Moore's been specifically vocal about bringing people into the Maryland state workforce, especially in the healthcare fields, but in others. What are some of the initiatives that are overarching in Maryland for folks to know about?
Yeah, and the governor rolled out, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a website that they're using to try and make it clear what's available and what possibilities are out there for people. And it runs the gamut. The state of Maryland hires a variety of people for all kinds of different levels of jobs. I've also been contacted by the Maryland Attorney General's office, which also is interested in trying to pick up this talent that's been pushed out onto the street. In some ways. And then in Prince George's County is doing the same thing. So there's a lot of talent. We've got positions that need to be filled, and hopefully we can take advantage of this and help people out at the same time.
So I'm speaking to Congressman Glenn Ivey, who represents Maryland's 4th District. I just took a quick look at the liveworkmaryland.com, so people know where to reach it, the job search site, and there's over 100,000 jobs in all kinds of categories listed there. Life sciences, engineering, aerospace, healthcare, as we just mentioned. Are there particular fields that people need to know about or opportunities that exist there in Prince George's and Maryland broadly?
Yeah, I think there's opportunities across the board, and different people bring different skill sets and different interests. And I think there's a lot of jobs that are available out there. Now, I don't want to overstate it. I don't want to make it sound like, you're going to find a job in 24 hours or something like that. But, it's an opportunity that should be taken advantage of at the state and the county level, in my view.
Well, and you've got a job fair coming up for Prince George's County on April 17th, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's going to be at the Showplace Arena in southern Prince George's County in Upper Marlboro. And this is the concept, but we're trying to do it in person. So we're working closely with Prince George's County government. My wife is on the county council, Jolene Ivey, so she's teaming up with us on this as well. And the idea is we're going to have Prince George's County government there, and they've got a variety of openings that they're trying to fill. The state of Maryland will be there. The governor's website that you just referenced will have people there who can walk people through that. Maryland Attorney General's office. We'll also have the private sector. PEPCO, I think, is one of the entities that'll be there too. So, we got a lot of possibilities. Prince George's County Public School System is another one. So we want to see if we can give people a chance to find something that's a good fit for them from a skills standpoint and an interest standpoint, and benefit the county and the state at the same time.
A lot of these federal workers haven't been in the job market for a long time. So how would you advise them to prepare if they're interested in participating next week?
It's kind of like riding a bicycle, put on the good suit, do your resume, do an update to that, and make sure it's got the most recent information. I know sometimes if you haven't done a resume or a CV in a long time, you forget about a lot of the things you've done over the course of your career. So give it some thought and try and flesh it out. And I used to do multiple versions of it, depending on what I was applying to, that emphasize different skills and experiences that might interest one particular employer more than another. So you might want to think about that option as well.
Can they find all of the participating employers on the website?
I don't know about that because I think some, for example, in the private sector are not going to be on the same website that the governor has for the state. But, certainly you can reach out via the governor's office. And we've got a website, too, that tries to help with this transition as well. So, it's going to take some looking around, but we'll try and help with the transition.
And will people be able to do interviews, do you think, on the spot?
That's the plan. People can come and have a chance to have conversations with the particular employers, find out more about what might be available and what the jobs would entail. And it also gives the employers a chance to get a chance to check you out and size you up, so to speak. So I think it's a good chance, kind of a speed dating scenarios, if you will.
Exactly. What do you hope happens after the job fair? Is this going to be a repeated activity? People will have more opportunities in the future?
Well, I think we've got, unfortunately, a lot of different angles to cover for people who've been displaced. So one of the next ones we'll have coming up are going to be helping people figure out how to deal with the finances, particularly with respect to mortgages. There might be foreclosure issues, help them figure out the forbearance requirements they're going to need to address. So we're having people from the mortgage industry come, community legal services and the like, to try and give them the type of advice that they might need to navigate this successfully.
That's really important because we're thinking, first off, that they've lost their jobs and they need a new one. But in the meantime, having a loss of income really does put them at financial risk in a lot of areas.
Yeah, for sure. And the other part of this, too, is we're continuing to fight. Here in Congress, we're trying to continue to block these illegal, frankly, in many instances, terminations that are taking place. We've had a lot of success in the courts. About 120 cases plus have been filed. I think there's about 40 injunctions in place. And I know that there are, unions and advocacy groups that are filing these matters in court. Also, Maryland Attorney General's got a case, and House Democrats do as well. So, stay in touch with us on that front because that could impact your situation, too.
That's good advice because in the meantime, while they're waiting for the cases to go through court, they still need to find some source of income to tide them through in case of reinstatement later, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to be people who are in different stages and in different postures. We're trying to provide assistance to everyone wherever they are.
So I want to circle back to the job fair just as we close. Do people need to be Maryland residents to participate, or people who want to be Maryland residents in the future?
Yeah, I don't think we're checking that at the door. I think all are welcome and, come on in. We've got a lot of colleagues who've lost their positions who live in D.C. and Virginia as well. We're going to be working closely with the delegation in Virginia and the district as well. So, come on out. We'll see if we can help, and we need to work together to get through this together.
Congressman Glenn Ivey represents Maryland's 4th District. He was speaking with Federal News Network's Terry Gerton. We'll post this interview along with a link to more information at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Hear the Federal Drive on your schedule. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.